So hi everyone, my name is Lynn Kish, and I'm an Information Services Librarian here at USC at the Norris Medical Library. This is our third video in our NIH Public Access Policy series, and this video will be talking about when you're ready to publish, and specifically the copyright and depositing manuscript process. So what I'll be talking about is the author agreement or copyright transfer, and talking about where you can locate this information, as well as providing two examples of what this can look like. One is a straightforward example, and one I will call a less straightforward example. After that, I'll be giving you more information about the four methods for submitting manuscripts to PubMed Central. The NIH Public Access Policy mandates that your manuscript must be publicly accessible no later than 12 months after publication, and includes acknowledgement and disclaimer statements. It is common practice for copyright to be transferred to a journal in the event of publication. This typically takes place in the author agreement. As an author or PI, you need to make sure any author agreement you sign allows the submission of your final peer-reviewed manuscript or final published article to PubMed Central. One way to ensure compliance is by including the NIH requirement in your cover letter. Here's a sample letter you can find on Scholarly Publishing and Academic Resources Coalition, or SPARC's, website. In it, you can see that it says to include the publisher and editor name and the following statement: encloses a manuscript to be considered for publication in journal name. The research reported in this manuscript has been funded through the National Institutes of Health, and therefore its publication must comply with the NIH Public Access Policy. In order to ensure compliance with the NIH policy, I, as corresponding author on behalf of all authors, am retaining the rights to provide a copy of the author's final manuscript, including all modifications from the publishing and peer review process, to NLM's PubMed Central database at the time of the manuscript is accepted for publication, and to authorize NIH to make such a copy of the manuscript available in digital form for public access and PMC no later than, indicate 0 to 12 months, after publication. Preventive measures are the best way to ensure compliance. Before you publish, make sure to examine the copyright agreement you sign so you know the publisher's policies and procedures. How to find copyrights information from your journal or publisher is on the journal's webpage. Look for a link for authors. Often you'll see language like instructions for authors or author submissions. You can also look for language about the NIH Public Access Policy or open access or copyright transfer. These policies can vary significantly, so I'm going to show you two examples. One is a straightforward example from Elsevier, and one is a not so straightforward example from the American Journal of Public Health. As of August of 2014, here is a straightforward statement from the publisher Elsevier. So as you can see, it's a lengthy policy, but it includes the statement: as a service to our authors, Elsevier will deposit to PubMed Central, PMC, author manuscripts on behalf of Elsevier authors reporting NIH-funded research. This service is in continuation of Elsevier's 2005 agreement with the NIH when NIH introduced their voluntary public access policy. So I say this is a straightforward policy because we know that Elsevier and all the journals that it publishes will directly submit the manuscript to PubMed Central on behalf of the author. So here's a less straightforward example from the American Journal of Public Health. As of 2014, there are conflicting messages from AGAPH. In regards to open access, AGPH promotes open access in the scientific community. Articles submitted and accepted for publication may be made available for open access for $2,500 per article. Open access can be requested through editorial manager system during the submission process or by contacting someone at apha.org anytime after acceptance or publication. The American Journal of Public Health also includes the following policy about NIH. Compliance with this policy is a statutory requirement and a term and condition of the grant award and cooperative agreement in accordance with the NIH grants policy statement. For contracts, NIH includes its requirements in all R&D solicitations and awards under Section 8 Special Contract Requirements in accordance with Uniform Contract Format. In order to be compliant with the NIH Public Access Policy, send the second PDF proof received from the publication staff after copy editing to NIH PubMed Central. Note that it is the responsibility of the author, not the AJPH, to comply with this policy. When submitting your second PDF proof to NIH PubMed Central, we request that you ask for a 12-month delay in publication after the print date. This option is available to you as part of the NIH process and help ensure that subscriptions needed to fund the AJPH are not jeopardized by immediate circulation of free content. So on one hand, they tell you that you need to pay for open access, and on the other hand, they tell you to submit to NIH. In this instance, we would really encourage you to contact an editor or the journal directly to ask which policy you should follow in terms of timeline and fees and responsibilities. So once copyright has been sorted out, you need to determine how your final peer-reviewed manuscript or published article will be submitted to PubMed Central. There are 4 ways this can happen. In methods A and B, the publisher automatically deposits the manuscript on your behalf. The difference between these methods are that in method B, the author or PI need to request this service and a fee may be involved. In method A, this process should happen automatically. The NIH maintains a list of journals participating in method A. This can be found in the publicaccess.nih.gov website. The NIH maintains a list of publishers who participate in method B, and this is also available in the publicaccess.nih.gov website. Method C requires that the author PI oversee deposit of a final peer review manuscript, not necessarily the final published article. The author or a designee begins the process using NIH-MS by depositing files or manuscript. Then the author approves the paper for processing, designating the appropriate release time based on your author agreement with the publisher. NIH-MS will convert the files into PubMed Central's standard format, and the author is asked to review and approve this final display. Any corrections to the manuscript must be made at this time. The NIH-MS will then email the author and all PIs with the PMC ID once it is assigned. In method D, the publisher will deposit manuscript and affiliated files, and then the NIH will complete the rest of the tasks. The NIH maintains a list of publishers who participate in method D. And it's also available on the publicaccess.nih.gov website. In addition to our videos, the NIH has created instructional videos to help guide you through this process, and they're available on their YouTube channel. Remember, regardless of which method you use to deposit the manuscript or who the author of the manuscript is, the responsibility to ensure it has been deposited and compliant with the NIH public access policy always lies with the NIH awardee or PI. So here's some following pages with more information, including the publicaccess.nih.gov website. And there's also information about the communicating and acknowledging federal funding in our second video, as well as on the NIH grants website listed. If you have any questions about the NIH public access policy, you can contact us through our library's homepage. The address is www.usc.edu/nml, and you can click Help in the upper right corner. To contact us Monday through Friday between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., you can call us directly at the reference desk at 323-442-1111. You can also email us anytime at medlib@usc.edu, or you can fill out our online Ask a Librarian form. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for your time.